Hello everybody, and welcome back to Steven's Fight Show. Alright, so last video, I made a video about Paddy Pimblett versus Jared Gordon and how it was a controversial decision. And to add on to UFC 282, that wasn't going to be the last of having controversial decisions on the main card, because in the main event between Blachowicz versus Magomed Ankalaev, the decision was also controversial as well. Now, although this decision in my opinion wasn't as bad as Paddy Pimblett versus Jared Gordon, this is one worth debating because it was a close fight on paper, and a lot of people feel like one person should have won the fight, and half of the people felt like the other person should have won the fight. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to break down the fight and give you my thoughts on who I believe won the fight, and how you guys can leave your input on what the correct decision for this fight was. So without wasting any more time, let's get into it. So Blachowicz had a second chance to reclaim the title that belonged to him before Glover Teixeira took it from him at UFC 282. And once again, just like I said earlier, the decision was in question again. So if you haven't been aware of the decision for this fight, Blachowicz and Magomed Ankalaev both drew in their light heavyweight title fight, and as always, many people weren't pleased with this decision, and I'm certainly one of them. I'm not upset by the decision, I just thought it could have been better, but let me explain real quick. So both fighters were two of the best in the division. Obviously we know who Blachowicz is. He's a former champion. The guy is absolutely exceptional. He's big, he's strong, and the power that he possesses in his strikes is what makes him really dangerous. And the dude can pretty much fight in all areas. He also has some devastating leg kicks that we saw in action against Ankalaev. And on the other hand, the man across Blachowicz, Magomed Ankalaev, he is an intelligent killer. He's been phenomenal ever since he stepped foot into the UFC. He's only lost one fight that he was winning in his career, and he's proven that he deserves to be at the top of this division. His wrestling background combined with his speed, his movement, his counter-striking, and IQ is absolutely a problem for everybody at 205. For him to be able to be that big and move at the speed that he can move is incredible. A fight between these two guys made so much sense, and it would have been better if we had a winner for this fight. Many people on Twitter and on social media are debating whether or not this decision is correct, and so far from what I've been seeing, it's been half and half. However, I'm here to explain my reasoning on why I believe the decision should have been awarded to one man, and his name is Magomed Ankalaev. Alright, so let's go through the fight. Alright, so in the first round of the fight, this is the most important round of the fight because the last 4 rounds were pretty decisive. Both guys had a good start to the fight, that this round was almost even for me, and I want to know if anyone feels the same way. Let me explain. So I scored this round for Ankalaev, but watching it back, it was a lot closer than I thought. Jan was attacking the lead leg early with some hard outside and inside leg kicks. The leg kick battle definitely went to Jan, as there was a big discrepancy in leg damage. Ankalaev was the one that was landing good counter strikes and pushed Jan back a few times with that front kick to the body. He was landing more to the body and the head. And if we're speaking strictly about damage, which is the first thing that people look at when they're scoring a fight, I will say Jan was landing the bigger strikes, but the more dominant and the more active fighter was Ankalaev. He was the one pressing forward and initiating most of the exchanges. I also felt like he was landing cleaner shots to the head as well. We saw some straight lefts and some counter hooks, but the question is, does all of that outweigh the damage that Jan inflicted? And watching it live for the first time, I thought 100%. I thought Ankalaev won this round clearly, but Jan did land some powerful strikes to the body and the legs. So I'm still having a hard time deciding 100% who won this fight, but I'm going to still stick with my assessment that Ankalaev won this round. I think if Jan was a little busier with his offense, then he might have won this round convincingly, but I still understand why the judges scored this round for Jan. This round is tight, it honestly is, and let me know what you guys think. Who did you score this round for, and tell me why I'm wrong, because I would love to hear, discuss, and debate about your opinions. Alright, so I'm not going to talk too much into the next 4 rounds of the fight because they were very clear rounds. Rounds 2 and 3, although it should 100% go to Blachowicz, I thought Ankalaev had a really good round 2 and round 3. If you watch it back, in round 2, Ankalaev was the one that was coming forward, continuing to land front kicks to the body, straight left hands, counter check hooks, and he was also feinting as well. Because the front kick to the body was bothering Jan a lot, he kept feinting the kick to draw reactions. And it looked like Ankalaev was on his way to potentially winning this round, and then all of a sudden, Jan pulls away within a matter of seconds, because at around the 2-minute mark, Jan lands a brutal low kick that clearly bothered Ankalaev. You saw Ankalaev literally limping and hopping on one foot after that exchange, and then he tries to pressure Jan backwards and landed a good side kick to the hip, something that you don't normally see. But unfortunately for Ankalaev, he runs into another leg kick by Jan that really hurt him badly. Like, you can see, like, he tried to put his weight on that foot and he couldn't even stand on it. His right leg was starting to get bashed. And Jan, he also had a good round as well, but the leg kicks were the biggest threat to Ankalaev. And then in round 3, the damage continues for Ankalaev because his leg was so compromised that he had to switch to orthodox to start the round, and as soon as he switches back to southpaw, Jan immediately chops that right leg again. Ankalaev still came forward landing jabs and front kicks to the body, but Jan starts to attack the other leg and landed a hard outside leg kick and followed up with another one that evidently hurt Ankalaev. I swear the reactions from Ankalaev was crazy. Like, the dude was literally backing away because his leg was so messed up. So at this point in the fight, Ankalaev is in a position where he could potentially get finished. But this is where Ankalaev's championship mentality came into play, and he showed that he had a mind of a champion. Essentially, he became the champion before he was supposed to be crowned the champion. Ankalaev was continuing to pressure Jan with his striking and his wrestling, which was dangerous because his legs were badly hurt. But this was the difference. Mentally, he was far ahead of Jan Blachowicz in this fight. Jan had a legitimate chance in round 3 to finish Ankalaev if he had tried to pressure him and throw more leg kicks. But instead, it was Ankalaev who had more belief that he could win this fight. Ankalaev's corner also wanted him to work no matter what, and the adjustment he made where he didn't give Jan an inch of room to set his feet to throw those leg kicks was brilliant. Because in the next 2 rounds, Ankalaev won those rounds in a heavily dominating fashion. In both rounds, Ankalaev did what I've been saying he's been doing this entire time, pressuring and landing strikes. However, he was also able to land a takedown in round 4, and he racked up a good amount of control time. And in my opinion, we know that round 5, the round after this, was a 10-8 for Ankalaev, but round 4 could have been a 10-8 as well. Because by definition of a 10-8 round, it means the fighter won the round by a large margin. And if you watch the round itself and you look at the striking numbers for both men in the round, you would see why it could be a 10-8 round. Because there's no argument at all for Jan Blachowicz even being competitive in this round. He was getting pressed into the cage the moment the round started. But however, I'm still going to stick with a 10-9 score for this round because there wasn't a lot of damage on the ground for it to be scored a 10-8. But I'm putting it out there that when you refer to the 3 Ds of scoring a 10-8, this round is pretty close to being a 10-8 round. And heading into round 5, it was disappointing for Jan because he overreacted when Ankalaev level changed, and I think it's because he was so paranoid about the fact that he could be on his back in the final round that he just panicked when he saw Ankalaev level change. And when Jan ended up on his back, he didn't even really try to get back on his feet, and he spends pretty much the entire round on his back, which makes this round easily a 10-8 because the dominance and the duration were too clear. Alright, so now we go to the judges' decision, and if you look at both fighters' body language, one guy is smiling, raising both his arms, and one guy is gutted while sitting on the ground. That should tell you the entire story. So the decision resulted in a draw, and Ankalaev and his team was in disbelief. Ankalaev was clearly emotional and angry in the post-fight interview, and I don't blame him as I thought he should have been deemed the winner of this fight. But watching it back, people might disagree with me on this, but it's not entirely a bad decision. Because the thing is, at least it was a draw, because there should only be 2 outcomes of this fight. Either it's a draw or Ankalaev wins. Because even if Jan wins the first round, the last round was for sure a 10-8. I'm more upset that one judge didn't score the last round a 10-8 for Ankalaev than him scoring round 1 for Jan. Because round 5 is 100% a 10-8. And it's a close fight, let's acknowledge that. Notice how throughout this entire video, I haven't even mentioned the word robbery once until now. That's because the word robbery doesn't pertain to this scenario. A robbery is when a fighter clearly wins and for some reason is not awarded the decision. A close fight means that both fighters did so well that their work was so even that it can go either way. Round 1 was close. Both guys had a good round 1. 2 rounds clearly go to Blachowicz and 2 rounds clearly go to Ankalaev. And there are 5 rounds in this fight. 100% this fight was close, but you have to feel for both fighters. and especially Ankalaev, because now they're passing this title on to the next two challengers, which are Glover Teixeira and Jamal Hill. And Ankalaev, he had a sensational comeback performance and doesn't even get another opportunity to claim what was supposed to be his. A disappointing outcome of this great fight, but they'll both be back stronger. And that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for listening to what I have to say, and let me know, who did you guys think won the fight, and specifically, who did you score the first round for? Do you think Ankalaev will earn another shot at the title? Where does Jan Blachowicz go from here? Drop a comment and let me know in the comment section down below. Now, if you guys enjoy content that is related to combat sports, please drop a like on this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel down below. That would be greatly appreciated. And other than that, it's been Steven, signing out. Peace.